Hello and welcome to Millionaire Autobahn. My name is Martin. Welcome to my channel. As you know, this is about how to become a millionaire in 2 years. And since this year just started, the overall challenge actually started now. To be honest, it's not that I just started now this week or last week or this year. I kind of prepared already months and months before 2022 started. So I already started to say with several types of investments. I want to talk about those real quick to give you a little bit of an update on what I'm investing in. I'm not talking about actually how much and what I make. I personally don't feel good about those things. The main reason is it gives kind of a false hope to people. There are all those videos out there, oh, I made this much, how much did I make this week, I made this much with that, and so on. People see those videos, they get all excited, and they might invest money into it without knowing what they're doing. So I don't want to do that. I'm just saying my plan for this year is to get to about 500,000. That's of course just half of the million, but it's just now for this year, so I still have time. And I want to show you what I currently have, what I'm investing in. So I have several accounts for the stock market. I have a Fidelity account, which is an IRA account, so I invested in that. Then I have an ETrade account, which I use mainly for ETFs. And I have a Robinhood account that I use for general stocks that I research, that I like, or that I think will thrive over time. I also have some ETFs or index funds in Robinhood. So the stock market in general, of course, is for the long run. That's something you want to invest in for the next 10-20 years, minimum, to be honest. The longer you invest, the better you will be off. So even though that's for the next 20 years, it will be part of my $1 million plan over the next 2 years, but it might be a smaller percentage of the overall revenue I'm creating. The next thing I invest in is real estate. So now I do not actually go out and buy houses or flip houses or have houses for rental income and stuff like that. I actually use Fundrise for that. To me, I think that's what I wanted, because I don't really like the headache of owning a house and having all the struggle with it, with renters destroying the house, running out, don't pay, you have to fix it up, and so on and so forth. That's just not my thing. So I do like Fundrise. They invest in different communities around the country. So far mainly in Texas, in Florida, Arizona, where everything is kind of thriving right now. A lot of communities that are created new, a lot of businesses that are created. So that's what I do to invest in real estate. My third option is crypto investments. So now, as I said in a video before, Bitcoin and Ethereum and even cryptos like Cardano or Binance, they are just a currency that you don't really do something with it. So yes, you can buy them like a stock and just leave them sitting. Bitcoin might actually over time still really increase. There are a lot of people saying it might go up to 100,000 just because there's a limited amount of Bitcoins out there and it's treated like gold, which is okay. However, I'm more into the active part of investing in those. So I invest in DAOs, in nodes, in different projects out there that actually create something and not just sitting there and waiting to hopefully go up in value. So let me tell you what I'm investing in. I've invested in the Olympus DAO, which is kind of the granddaddy of DAOs. It's a very strong team. They just recently came up with a lot of new ideas. They made a lot of changes. And I'm very positive about that team and what will come out of it on the long run. The other one is Strongblock. That also is a well-known team. It's also the granddaddy of nodes, if you will. I think that this one also has a very good and safe outlook for the future. The team is also very open. They have different AMA sessions you can look into. They have YouTube videos, so there's nothing hidden there. I personally think it's a great investment, also again for the long run. Then I invested in some newer team, just like about 6 weeks old I would say, and it's called Thor Nodes. At first I was not really sure about them, but actually the team is also very open. On Thursday they have what they call a Thor's Day, and they have an AMA session there talking about what their plans are, what they're doing and so on. So I'm pretty confident about that one, that this also will sustain for the future and that it will go up over time. The next one is called Templar DAO, which is kind of an oddball, if you will, because their APY is still to this time 10 million%, which is absolutely ludicrous. They have quite a strong treasury with quite some volume in there, so their token, even though it went down quite significantly, it should not really fall below, let's say, $170, and it's hovering around 200 right now. But for the long run, I think it is actually a great investment too, as the team just went cross-chain, and they're also kind of an investment vehicle where they invest in other projects. The next one is also kind of a granddaddy of DAOs. It's called Wonderland. It's a fork of Olympus DAO, but has some sort of started its own world around it. There are so many things going on in that area, and the team is also very open. There's a lot of sessions going on where you can see what they're doing, and a lot of things going on around the Wonderland ecosystem. So that's also very interesting. And even a good YouTuber I know, Raw Build, which I love, he actually just recently invested some money into it. When I saw the video, I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting. So that's actually pretty cool. So I think that is a good investment. The next one is called Hector DAO, also very open, well-known team. I just recently invested in Spartacus DAO, only just because I think the team itself also is a good team. However, the value went down quite a bit, so that's why I actually jumped on the wagon. Then I invested in something called the Mair Exchange in eGold. So far that's kind of going sideways, but because it's actually a large company behind it, they have an app, they have a very robust website, if you will, very professional. I think it will sustain, it will go up over time. And just recently I invested in something called Louverture Nodes. You can have a node starting with just a couple of dollars, and at first they actually promised like every 10 days you would double your money, which would be insane. It changed to like 15% a month per node. However, the value of Louverture is, just 0.00 something dollars. So you need quite a lot of these coins in order to make some revenue there. And as you know from my last video, I invested in Ring Nodes. They actually, went downhill. Maybe it's fraud, maybe it's a rug pull, I don't know. I personally think the team got cold feet and they ran away. So that's lost. And as everybody says online, this is no financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor here. So you have to do your own due diligence, your own research with those projects. That's just the projects I personally think are good. But other than that, they can always go to zero. So don't use that as your investment for the future or only investment for the future. It can be part of it, which I'm doing, which I think is great, but it should not be the only one. So now second, my future investments. What's my plans actually when it comes to investments for this year? So I will invest about $2,000 a month into the stock market. And I will divide those depending on what I put in my IRA, what I put in ETFs, and what I put into regular stocks, depending on what I think might be good or not. Then I will also invest about $500 to $1,000 a month into real estate, meaning into Fundrise. I personally like, as said before, I like that platform. I don't have any headache with it, any hassle. It's just they do everything and they just send you an email and say, oh, we just bought this property and that property, and you get XYZ whatever % out of it. Then of course crypto will be still a big part in 2022. I have a couple of things that I want to invest. One is called the DRIP protocol. I personally think I went over it the last 5-6 days. I watched a lot of videos about it, about the team and what it is, how it works. It's a very interesting project which I like. It's some sort, if you will, a safe bet because of their taxation of how they run things. So I will invest in that one. Then a new one that's coming up, it's called the Delta One protocol. I have been involved in that one for the last 6 weeks, meaning involved like following their Discord, looking what they're doing on the website. They're now in beta testing and it should go live in about 2 weeks or so. So the nice thing about that one is it's a stable coin. So you will not have that issue with one day the value of the coin is $1,000 and next day it's 500. And they use that money to invest it into different yield options. They say you get about 1% a day. If you compound it, you're looking at about 500 or so % a year, which sounds pretty amazing for a stable coin. So we'll see how that actually works, if it works. And the next one is yield nodes. That is a little bit of an oddball, if you will. So you actually don't really buy a coin and then connect your wallet and then you get whatever, you see what's going on. It's more like you take $1,000, you transfer the money to their account. At some point it will show up in your account on their website. And then every month you see, okay, now this month it made 8%, next month it might do 5%, it might do 10%, whatever. And you only have one time a month. I think on the 15th you have to tell them on how much money you want to get paid out. And then 2 weeks later or so you get the money paid out. The good thing about that one is it's also not really on how the values of the cryptocurrencies are going up or down. So what they're doing, they use actually their servers for nodes to verify transactions and things, to provide liquidity and stuff like that. And the revenue they create out of that is what the investors of those nodes will get back. So far I've seen a couple of videos about the guys, about the CEO. It looks all pretty much legit. I even saw a video of a guy who did an audit, who is an investor in it, which was very impressive though, to be honest, because he said he expected much less money in the vault, if you will, and there was actually much more money there. So it's a pretty safe bet, I would say. Again, no financial advice. And then there might be some other things that come up. I recently looked into the Mars ecosystem, which is very interesting. It's also a stable coin yield. That might be something. And I'm sure there's new ones coming up this year, like on a daily basis. In addition to these investments, which are kind of, if you will, a passive income type of thing, I'm also starting my own cryptocurrency, which is called Atnuba. You can go to the website Atnuba Finance, and in a couple of weeks or so we will actually get this token out. The idea behind the token is using it for rewards. So you know, the airline miles, Starbucks rewards, wherever you go you get some sort of rewards, and often you cannot really use them. You might not have enough rewards, or after a certain amount of time they might disappear, and all sorts of things. Or you might not go to that store any longer. you cannot use them internationally. For an example, if you go to Starbucks in the US, you have the Starbucks app, you get your rewards. If you now go to London in the UK, you cannot use that. You cannot even use the app in the UK. So your rewards there are useless. And with the Adnuba reward system, it is a reward system, a token that can be used anywhere in the world. You could get rewards being in the metaverse. You can get rewards buying something online. You can get rewards when you buy offline. It doesn't really matter, and you can use them anywhere in the world. So that is actually the nice thing about the Adnuba rewards token that me and my team will start. We actually started everything already, but till it's actually publicly traded, it will be in another 2 weeks or so. With that said, we will also have a node system. So once we start, we of course need servers to get this thing running, so these transactions can be done. And with those servers, we need people to invest in those. So we do the same thing like, let's say, what Strongblock is doing, or Yield Nodes. You then actually can buy a node, and we will then pay out a monthly percentage on how much that server has been used and paid out. So that's something to think about for the future. I will make a couple of videos about that. There will be a Discord server for Adnuba where you can connect to. I'm pretty excited about that. So then my other thing I want to do in 2022 is affiliate ecosystem. I signed up with Kartra about 4 or 5 weeks ago, started my website there, haven't really released anything yet. But I think the affiliate market is a very nice passive income market that you kind of, once you build something, you can reuse it over and over and over for different streams. So I do like that concept, and that's what I want to pursue. So these are the things I want to do in 2022. I hope that for you, you actually also see some value in that, and maybe you can start some of those too. Just follow my channel. I will have updates here every week about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and if it makes any sense. So with all that said, I'm wishing you a good week, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like, maybe subscribe, and I will talk to you next week. Goodbye.